All right. Good morning. What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah. I had some Tesla puts yesterday that I was going to swing, but I decided to do the safe thing. It's been a story of my week more than anything. Has just been being conservative and missing out on some nice moves, but it's the game. It's the game you play when you're conservative, right? Sometimes you got to get aggressive. I've been a little bit conservative with the data this week, and some really nice setups that I've missed out on, but keeps you alive. Good morning. Yeah, I had the Tesla put, Captain. You saw that in the chat, but I sold it just to be safe. I had the right idea. It's all good. Today will be another opportunity. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. How's everyone doing? Hope you had a good day yesterday. Having a good morning. Started your M1 account. Nice, Novi. Nice job, man. Hopefully you'll be happy about that in the long term. Yeah, that BA sort of broke down. I don't like it as much anymore. Morning, guys. Wait a few minutes here for some people to jump in. I guess you could say gap down, just sort of futures moving a little bit lower. But holding some pretty key level right now. Right now holding a key 4,400 on ES, 15,080 on NQ. These were some key holds yesterday as well, so important demand to watch out for. Yeah, that target trade we had looks good. Looks good if you're still holding that. I might look to re-enter that one today. Target comeback looking good. All right, let's get started. So yesterday FOMC, you got original downside followed by a nice demand hold at our at the exact same level that it, at the exact level it should have held, right? The previous day lows 43.80. So we were in the chat, we were saying, watch this previous day low, and it was definitely that was definitely the level that held, that 43.80 on ES, that 15,000 on NASDAQ. Those two demand levels that we were watching held really nicely. You got a little bit of relief back to the upside, and now you're pretty much just sideways. So you really haven't moved much. So today we're just gonna have to watch the levels again. Really haven't moved much on the futures. Day over day, we've had this flat top here on the ES, sort of flat top on the NASDAQ, and then these demands that keep stepping up. So we're going to have to see, what happens at these levels today. We do have jobless claims. We have retail sales. So some economic data to watch out for. Michael, thank you, man. As always, Michael, thank you for your donations. I very much appreciate that. Appreciate you, man. So really, not much of an event yesterday. Little up, little down, a little bit of nowhere, really. Some trading opportunities, nonetheless. If you guys caught some of that, well done. Some very key levels today, though. Some very key levels, right? Some very key levels to watch. 4,400, 15,080 on the NASDAQ. These are going to be key this morning. They are holding in the pre-market. So these are the levels that we're going to have to watch, right? We're going to have to trade off of. We're going to have to believe in. We're going to have to trust. Because as of right now, they are still holding. So let's take a look. Let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you had not subscribed. And let's do it. So futures, economic earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up that economic calendar real quick. So right here, guys, you can see today, jobless claims, retail sales, both 8:30 this morning. So in about 25 minutes, we will get that. You got manufacturing survey. I don't really know if that's that important. And then intraday, or I guess 15 minutes before open, industrial production, capacity utilization, business inventories. Really, the main thing is going to be jobless claims and retail sales here. So 8:30, we'll see what happens, right? Important data there. That's pretty much the end of our busy economic week. Yesterday, obviously, PPI, FOMC, CPI Tuesday. This is going to be the end of it. Jobless claims and retail sales. Next week, not much. And markets close Monday. Hell yeah. All right. Market is closed Monday. That is fantastic. Nice little day off. Love it. Happy Father's Day to any of the fathers out there as well. So we'll see what happens. Monday, market closed. Pretty light on the economic side. Jobless claims. We got Powell testifying to the Senate. That could be interesting. But beautiful. I hope some of you out there, I know some people don't like when the market's closed because they're addicted to it. But I think eventually you get to the point where you are very excited for these days. Very excited for those days that you can just relax the mind, relax the stress of trading. So Monday market closed. Les, thank you, man. Thanks for prepping us every morning. I appreciate that. 25 donation, new donation. Appreciate that, man. I need a noise. I need to spice up the live streams. I'm going to figure out how to do that with some, your name pops up, stuff like that. I got to figure out how to do that. I'm assuming there's an OBS plugin that can connect to YouTube and do that kind of stuff. So we'll see. But thank you, man. Thank you, Les. So economic earnings calendar, really nothing on the earnings side. Tesla 250, big level to watch today. I had Tesla puts yesterday. I played it safe. I got rid of them just for I lost like $40 on it. It was pretty much break even. And I said, why am I holding anything overnight? Let's just start fresh. Sometimes it's nice to come into the next day with a fresh portfolio, right? Fully cash, ready to go. Sometimes I sort of rather have that than have a small swing trade. So I did get rid of it. Played it safe on that side, but the right idea. Tesla down this morning. Watch 250. We'll take a look at that. NVIDIA 420 demand, something to watch this morning. AMD TSM retests. These are interesting if we get more upside on the semis. That target weekly demand, we talked about this one in the chat yesterday. Took a nice 40% trade on this. Could be something to watch again. Coinbase 50, some more crypto drama overnight with the SEC. I think Coinbase is I don't know. I don't want to say dead, but Coinbase is definitely losing its steam. I would watch Coinbase at 50. Amazon, Google, watching some weakness on these. And then this SMCI stock, something that I usually don't watch, but has been just ripping with the semis, actually creating a very similar formation. 4-hour bull flag, something we have watched quite a bit. So similar formation here on SMCI. I wanted to point it out. So that's what we're going to look at. We got some more I'm going to sort of throw in there. Meta, Costco, Lululemon's another one that I'm interested in. So we'll hopefully get some time. Let's go ahead and get started. Press that like button if you guys could as you're coming in. That should be the first thing you do. Just little like. All right. So let's start on the ES. Yeah, we have the ECB news at 8:15. So we'll see if there's any reaction off that. So here's the ES. So this is interesting. The ES has been in this little uptrending channel since last Thursday. You can see it's sort of just been bouncing off the bottom side of this channel. And you're sitting right at it this morning. You're rejecting the top side of the channel, right? You can see rejected the top side. Nice rejection of the top side here at 44.40 yesterday. So this is going to be really the main watch. Do we continue to uptrend in this channel, right? Do we continue to do this channel, or is there going to be any type of pullback out of this channel, right? Breaking this channel and then an extended pullback to the downside. Something I'm definitely watching. Watching this uptrending channel here on the ES. Now, when it comes to these levels, the first one that we have to watch here today is this 44.40 on the ES. This is very important. 4,400 on the ES is going to be very important. This is a previous hold from Tuesday, and this is a hold here in the pre-market today. It was also a hold after the original move on FOMC. So you guys can see we had 4,400 hold, 4,400 hold, and a 4,400 hold. That's your first level, right? If you are above 4,400 today, be very cautious shorting this market, right? Be cautious shorting above 4,400. If you break 44 today, I think you could see that 43.80 again, right? That is that Tuesday low, and that is exactly where we held on FOMC, right? We had a big drop on FOMC, and we held that exact Tuesday low. That's around our 43.80 level. So 4,400, clear as day. 43.80, clear as day. If you get under 43.80, then you're moving into this high right here, this 43.70. And that's really where, in my opinion, I want to see a pullback to 43.50. That's really where I think a healthy pullback creates another very nice long opportunity, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not thinking this market is crashing, but I still believe that at this point, a pullback creates opportunity for us as traders. I'm a little bit cautious continuing to just chase this upside here into this supply at 44.40, 44.20, right? We can clearly see the buying has slowed down day over day here, starting to sort of top a little bit at this level. I'm a little bit cautious, going long into these highs again today. Just a little bit cautious there. I would really like, as a trader, something of a pullback to create new long entries. Some kind of a relief to create new long entries to the upside. That's really what I want to see. Now, I have to be careful of what I want to see making me trade a certain way. That is very difficult sometimes because I want to see a pullback, and I can't let my I can't let my mind take over that, my decisions in that sense, because if I want to see that, I'm going to tend to look for downside, and I have to be careful of that. I can already sort of feel that, so I need to be careful of that today. 4,400, that's your demand. If you're above that level, you have to look long. If you get a pullback under 44, look for this 43.80 FOMC lows. If you break 43.80, you're at 43.70. And then the big pullback that I really want is this 43.50. I think there could be some really hot long opportunities off this 43.50 if we get there, which I don't really know quite yet, right? We're going to have to see how these levels stack up. But immediate short-term stuff to be watching here, we can clearly see 4,400 demand is stepping in. If you hold that upside, just be careful of this high, right? Just be careful of longing into this high. This looks a little bit tough here, right? You can see the rejections on Tuesday. You can see the rejections yesterday, right? So I would be just a little bit cautious. If you start longing at like 44.15, you only have about 5 points of upside here until this supply. You really need to look to long as close to 4,400 or to 43.80 as possible, in my opinion, today. A little bit of upside right now off that demand, so that is definitely our level to watch here on the ES, all right? So 4,400, 43.80, those are your immediate short-term demands to watch today, all right? Let's go to the SPY. I think I have to adjust this a little bit. Yeah, it's like this 435 really still, which you're sort of holding above. Yeah, it's like 435, right, on the SPY. And then this 430, really 435, 434, right? Those are really your two demands here. You can see nice holds at 435. Yesterday hold at 435. You're holding 435 again. And then FOMC lows, 434, right? 434, 434. So those are really your next two demands. 435, 434. Look for those two demands to step up. If you are above 435 today, be careful on the short side, right? We do not want to short into this demand right here. Could absolutely have another upside push off this level today. Absolutely. So 435, 434, right? Keep an eye on those levels. Those are our short-term demand levels. Yeah, that's really it. If you break the 434, then you got this. This is that downside that I've been talking about right here. But we have to break that 434 first. 434, 433.80. The exact low is, let's just put this line at the exact low. Exact low of FOMC was 433.60. So let's put our line there. So 433.60 and 435 are our two demands on the SPY, right? Same exact thing as the ES, 4,400, 43.80. All right. Let's go NASDAQ. Very key level this morning. This was a key level yesterday, and it will be a key level today as well, as it's already showing you. 15,080, right? We talked about this level yesterday in the pre-market, and it held beautifully at the open, right? 15,080 pre-market lows. It was a pre-market low here, and it held there into open. Very nice upside move. 15,080 is your first NASDAQ demand to watch. If you break that, you're coming into this low, right? This is that 14,960, 15,000 zone that we talked about yesterday, right? Right there. So if you break that 15,080, right, then you're looking for the demand down at yesterday's lows. Very clear, very obvious, not hard to read there. If you start to short the market into yesterday's lows, you have every right to be smacked, right? You have every right to be smacked. So be careful. If you start to enter shorts, right, you need to be cautious of this demand down below. If you want to look to short on the short term, right, if you want to look for a short-term short, I would look for a rejection of 15,080, right, and I would look for the downside into 15,000, 14,960, all right? That would be my short watch into that, right, under 15,080. The real short happens, right? The real short happens if we break yesterday's lows. That's really the only real short here, in my opinion. The real comfortable short is if you break under yesterday's lows. Until then, you need to be very careful shorting this. You have very strong demand here and very strong demand here on the NASDAQ. You can see this 15,000 to 14,960 demand could absolutely step in again. All right, so just be careful of that NASDAQ zone here. Make sure you have that on your charts. If you're trading intraday, right, this is how I sort of trade intraday. If I see the NASDAQ is trading like this and I start to see, something like this intraday, and I know, I'm like, all right, I have a green zone here. I know that I should not enter shorts when I see a green zone on my chart. All right, so make sure you have these zones set up so that when you're sort of tunnel visioned intraday, watching the 2-minute chart, watching the 5-minute chart, and you see us trading in some kind of a green zone on your chart, you can say, all right, hold up, wait a minute. From that meme, hold up, wait a minute. Why is there a green zone here, right? And you can zoom out and say, oh, okay, there's, Tuesday, Wednesday demand lows here. Let me be careful on the short side. So make sure you have that zone there. That's a big one to watch. If you break this yesterday low, then I like the downside, and then 15,080 here on the NASDAQ, all right? QQQ. Let's go 30-minute. Let's zoom out a little bit. Why are my lines off? The zones are there, but the lines are not. Okay, 363 and 360. Yep, and then this right here. There we go. All right, so same thing as the NASDAQ, right? It's the same exact thing. 363 is your 15,080, and then 360 is your 15,000 zone on the NASDAQ. Those are your two levels to watch. Be careful of this 360 demand on the Qs. If you drop the 360 demand on the Qs, then you got your downside into 357. All right, so here's your three levels to watch on the QQQ, 363, 360, 357. This is, again, the juicy short right here. If you can get that move, we shall see. All right, so that's the Qs. Let's go Russell. Russell has rejected pretty nicely at this previous high. We talked about this. So you guys can see right here. Nice bull flag breakout. Worked nicely. However, that bull flag moved right into these lows, right? Look at these lows right here. It moved right into those lows, this supply at 1920, and a pretty harsh rejection at that 1920 supply. So today is very obvious on the Russell. If you do not hold this low, things are going to break down, right? This Russell must hold this low. I would say 1880. Right in that zone, 1880, you can maybe catch some demand down at like the 73. But if you break this zone here, then I would absolutely think there's some potential downside. You do have the 100, 220 SMA right there, which could hold it up. But this is a flat, right, little channel. You need to be careful if this breaks this channel. This could reverse. Or, of course, like every other channel trade, you could get this, you could get this, you could get this. So Russell sort of creating its own channel here between this 1880 and 1920 zone. Be careful of that. If you do hold demand today, right, you could possibly see that push back into 1920 if you hold that demand down here at 1880. All right. Dow Jones, nice rejection of that supply high. Pretty much the exact, just what it should have done, right? No surprises here. You can see supply. There's no surprises that the Dow rejected that, right? No one should be surprised there. Very clean supply rejection, triple top. It looks to me like this zone is going to be important here. Let me take these SMAs off because they're a little sloppy. So right here, 34,200, 34,170. You guys can see right there, right? Previous highs, previous high. Does that hold, right? That's going to be your key watch today. That's where we held on FOMC right here, right? Look at the Dow and FOMC. Nice demand hold. Look at that wick right there. That's very confirming right there. And that is exactly at this 34,170, 34,200 zone. And that is, right, the previous high on the Dow. Is the Dow doing our little bull flag retest right now? All right. Does the Dow hold this retest and flag out of this again? Interesting. Watch that. All right, so Dow Jones, if you are watching Dow stocks, watch this 34,170. Big level there. All right, that's the futures. Let's continue. Tesla. So we had Tesla pretty damn right yesterday, not going to lie. We talked about this gap fill in the pre-market yesterday. If you guys were here, you should remember that. We said gap fill 265 right in that general area. That was pretty much where Tesla sort of stopped, right? Right at that gap fill area. Weekday yesterday, I was short Tesla because of this overall weakness versus the market. I did close it yesterday to be safe, but obviously that's a little bit of a hurtful, little regretful this morning, but it is what it is. It was small. Would have made maybe $100-$200, something like that. Today is very clear to me, right? Today I like to maybe get a little active on Tesla here. This 250 is very clear. Very, very clear. Psych level, previous supply, right? And you are back below it. So if Tesla stays below 250 today, be careful longing this again, right? The only way I could see a long on Tesla is a very strong hold above this level again, right? If you can reclaim 250, then sure, I don't mind looking for that long again, but be careful longing Tesla back into 250. This could be a heavy level. You guys should remember if you trade on a daily basis or at least watch the stocks, you should remember how tough it was for Tesla to get above 250. So if the sellers are, stacking up again under 250, this could be a little bit of a pullback time for Tesla. Very possible, and would not be a bearish thing, right? There's nothing bearish about Tesla pulling back a few points after five weeks of straight upside. I think it was like 13 straight days or something. I guess not, because there were some red days here, but you guys know you get what I'm saying, right? A pullback here is not bearish. It's just a healthy pullback. So if you can stay under 250 today, which you already see is stacking up pretty nicely here, I don't mind that short into 242, right? And even if you lose on this trade, so be it, right? You're risking like 2 points to make like 10. It's a pretty good risk reward here. So I'm definitely going to look for this. I'm going to see if we reject 250. I'm actually also going to put a line at this FOMC low here, which is 252. So if I do have some more risk I'm willing to take, I would maybe risk it into 252. So just keep an eye on that 250, 252 area. You see Tesla long at 245. Yeah, you could, that could be the target for your short, 245. I'm sort of liking these lows here, this low right here around this 242. But, either way, I still like the short. If you can get a short close to that 250, I don't mind that look for some downside into these lows. So keep an eye on that 250. I think that's going to be very important today. Obviously, you need to watch the market as well. You're not going to just short Tesla if the market's rallying. So NVIDIA. Oh, man. This one hurts me. It really does. This happens to me once in a while where I just, I'm so convicted in something and I take it and I just sort of back out of it. And, man, I just, I'm okay being completely honest with you guys, being transparent with you guys, because that's the reality of trading, right? Sometimes I was so convicted in longing NVIDIA off this 375. I mean, I was spamming the chat about longing. I was on Twitter about it, right? And I actually entered this swing trade back on last week, a 400 call at $5. Oh, no, it's $7. The NVIDIA June 16th 400s, and I was looking for this downtrend break, right? This was before any of this happened. This trade is up like 1,000%. I would have made like 10 grand on that trade. It sucks, right? It sucks. There's nothing more I can say. It sucks. I messed the trade up. I backed out of it for whatever reason. For me, it was backing out because of CPI, so I didn't want to take the risk. I should have just been long and strong and just believed in the setup, but I missed out on this whole move. And it is what it is. I mean, I have the shares, so yeah, I'm very happy with the shares. I mean, from here to here with 100 shares, you make about, what is that, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I mean, I'm up like $5,000 this week on NVIDIA shares. So I'm not that upset about it, but I could have been, I could have doubled that with options as well. So convicted and convinced, the same thing, my friend. Pretty much in trading. Convicted, convinced, sorry. So, yeah, very nice breakout of that hourly downtrend. Very nice squeeze on NVIDIA. Really strong. The 395 break and retest. The hold above this 405 was nice as well. And now we're looking at this 420 area. All right, so let's keep an eye on this 420 area today. You guys can see yesterday, you have this previous high around this 420, right? And you can see this morning, you are holding that 420. So keep an eye on that 420 today, all right? If you hold that zone, right, if you hold this zone, NVIDIA could absolutely see some more upside here. I would not underestimate NVIDIA's potential for more upside. It sort of feels like it's just, as of right now, there feels like there's no ceiling to this. So you do have to be careful. You need to continue to be risk managers. You can't just, YOLO your whole account into NVIDIA. But I would be careful underestimating the potential for more upside. At this point, for me, I am definitely riding the shares more than I am taking options, but I will continue to look for these pullback opportunities. So watch this 420, watch this 418, watch this zone today, see if that demand holds. If that demand does not hold, watch this little 414 pre-market highs from yesterday as another potential demand hold down there. There's definitely some potential holds on pullbacks here on NVIDIA. So 420 is my first watch. 418 is really going to be my next. So really like 420 here, then 418, and then this 414 low. These are my three zones that I am looking for pullbacks today on NVIDIA. So we'll see if we get any of them. But definitely that 420, which is holding this morning, is definitely a watch. All right. We're about to get jobless claims retail sales here. So let's see. Maybe we'll relook at NVIDIA after this economic data comes out. Let's see the reaction to it live. Let's see how the SPY moves here and see if we can see if we need to relook at anything. So press that like button if you could. Subscribe if you're new. All right. Not much of a reaction yet. Looks like a little bit of downside. Let's get the news. Retail sales 0.3 versus negative 0.01 estimation. So good retail sales. Retail sales up month over month. Core retail sales as expected 0.1 versus 0.1. So retail sales pretty good. Could NVIDIA announce a split? Probably not a bad idea for them, honestly. They could. Would a split be that negative, though? Honestly, probably not. I mean, I didn't mean split. I was thinking about a share offering. NVIDIA should probably do a share offering. They would be heavy cash, loaded in cash if they did that, which is not a bad thing. Jobless claims 262 versus 250. So jobless claims are higher. Yeah, not much movement. So retail sales month over month, core as estimation. Retail sales month over month, 0.3 versus negative 0.01 or negative 0.1. So good retail sales and higher jobless claims. Market does not look to be reacting much to that data. Just demand hold still there, right? Demand hold still just sitting there. 4,400 demand and that NASDAQ 15,080. All right, so let me know if anything happens here, guys. Again, please do not look at the chart like this and scream in the chat. We're tanking, right? Don't do that. I can't even get the charts. Don't do this. We're tanking. Let me know if anything happens here. So 15,080, 4,400. Let me know if those crack. Yeah, Target could be good for the retail sales, right? Retail sales could help Target there a little bit. All right, let's continue. We looked at Tesla, not much movement there. 250 rejection still valid. NVIDIA, watch that 420. All right. AMD TSM. Flush. We're still under 40. We're still above 4,400. So AMD TSM. These are interesting. I am definitely going to sort of track these over the next few days because with how strong NVIDIA has been, does AMD TSM have any momentum here? We shall see. This area is going to be very crucial, in my opinion, for AMD. It's really like, so here's the thing, right? This whole zone, I could really put demand in this whole zone. And here's why, right? Here's why you could almost just not want to short AMD anywhere within 124.50 to 122. And that is because of these wicks, right? You see these wicks here, and you see how strong the AMD wicked back up after breaking these levels. It's a little bit concerning, right? I don't think I'd want to be that short, right, into where this market has wicked before. So you can see if I go to the, let's go 15-minute, right? And if you look at the 15-minute chart here over the last few days, look at these wicks back to the upside after breaking that level. So I would almost, if you want to play it safe on AMD, I would almost look at this whole zone as demand, right? And I would look to see if AMD continues to maintain these highs right here and potentially these highs right here and all this wick action right here. If AMD holds this green zone, right, I could see this being another one of those little bull flag break and retests for upside. That's if the market stays strong, of course, right? I could see this doing this again on AMD and pushing back into that 133. So I am going to watch AMD. I'm going to keep an eye on this zone. I definitely want to know what happens in here. If I see more demand wick step up in this zone, I would be interested to see if I can play upside. AMD really doesn't break until it's under this 122, in my opinion, and then into this 116, right? So 116 is really that low, right? You can clearly see this 116 low. If we break that, then this actually breaks, right, for more downside. Above 116, I would still be a little bit cautious on the short side. But this zone here looks like a zone to target. If you can just sort of maintain this zone for the next few days, and if the market sort of holds up, this could be another long entry here off this 122, 124 zone. So keeping an eye on that. Be careful on the short side in there, and then watch this 122. All right. TSM, is it doing it again, man? Is TSM doing it again? The exact same setup that it's done like 3 times now. It's the break and retest of previous highs. 105 were your previous TSM highs. You broke them, and now yesterday you held them as support very nicely. So something to watch here today, right? Look at TSM off 105 yesterday. 105 demand, 105 demand, right? You can see we held those levels pretty nicely at that 105 demand. So does TSM do the exact same thing that it's done like 3 times now and do a little bull flag break and retest on the 4-hour chart? This could be the exact same thing again, right? So interesting. You have multiple bull flags on TSM. Does it hold 105, and do we get another push into that 110? I am absolutely going to watch this. The only reason that I am a little bit more hesitant on this one, right? The only reason I am a little bit more hesitant to long TSM this time around is because of this, right? It's because of this. And it's because I know that the weekly chart has some monstrous supply here at 110, right? I don't know if I really want to long TSM into these lows, right? That's my only concern. So is this the time that it doesn't work because of this heavy 110 supply? That is possible. But I would just monitor TSM, see if it holds that 105 level, and then same thing as AMD, see if it holds this 124, 122 zone. All right? Keep an eye on those semis and see if they hold. I'm actually going to go to SMCI now because we're talking about semiconductors. Here is SMCI. This has been running with the semiconductors, and you can see, yeah, this looks familiar, doesn't it? All right, I think the ES broke 44, right? Yeah. Okay, but we're still, okay, yeah, we broke the 14. Yeah, we're sitting right at that supply, right at that demand. ES is breaking a little bit. SMCI. So keep an eye on this, right? This is looking very familiar. I've seen this many times. We have traded this many times. Let's see what happens at this 237 on SMCI. Previous double top, nice demand is holding now. Now, of course, if the market breaks down, right, we're not going to take this trade. If SMCI comes back under, turns this into a rejection, then we can actually look for the downside here. But keep an eye on this as well with your semiconductors, SMCI flag, AMD, and TSM. Just sort of monitoring these because of the recent NVIDIA strength, right? All right, so let's get into some downside watches that I have today. First of all, I am going to watch this. I'm watching this Google downside as one of my favorite downsides here over the next few, maybe the next few weeks, maybe the next week is this Google setup. So here's why. Here's my sort of thought process behind this. Google has not caught anything of bids to, over the last month, right? Look at Google. As the NASDAQ has ripped to the upside, Google has been very, very tired here. So that's number one, right? I can clearly see this is back in May, and this thing has gone nothing but sideways. So I do like Google for more weakness. I am going to watch this 121 level. We caught a nasty Google put yesterday. If you guys are in the Discord, that was just like a one and done right off the open. Where was that? That was this. We caught this whole move yesterday, literally from the top to the bottom, and I scaled out pretty much perfectly at the low. So this was sick. Congrats on that one, guys. But 4-hour chart, right? You can see Google is sort of floating on an island up here. And if there was ever anything, right? If my experience has told me anything, stocks will always come back to their retests. They will always come back to their retests. It may take some time, but I don't want to use the word guarantee, but I can very highly say that with a very high percentage point chance that Google will be back at 108 at some point, right? And it will retest this previous breakout point. Because when a stock breaks out like this and does not retest the previous breakout point, you usually will get that and it will come back to that level. So you never got a retest of this 108, 109 breakout. And you can see we're sort of sitting on a shelf here. So if Google starts to get some weakness, this is definitely going to be a watch of mine, right? If Google breaks this 121 shelf that it has created, I think you could see that move into the 116 lows here, right? I think you could absolutely see the lows right here. And if you break that 116, I think you could absolutely see this 108 retest. And this would still be bullish, right? This is still a bullish move on Google even after it pulls back and retests this previous breakout point, because this would just do a break and retest, right? So I want to try to see if I could take advantage of this Google downside. This is not a trade that I think just happens today, right? This is something I'm going to hawk over the next few weeks. If we do get some weakness, I'm going to hawk this 121 level. If we break that, I'm going to hawk this 116 level. If we break that, then I think this gets really interesting, right? Because look at what Google did here. I mean, it pretty much just went vertical, and there's definitely some opportunity here in my opinion. It's not going to just work out in one day. You're going to have to hawk this thing. Keep an eye on this 121. Keep an eye on this 116, right? If we start dropping these demands, then, yeah, keep an eye on it. I like the idea. I'm going to monitor it. Stay updated with me if you want to see if I take that trade. 15-minute chart on Amazon is another one I'm interested in today for downside if we do get continued weakness. Here's the 30-minute chart. You guys can see right here. Really clear supply from yesterday. We talked about this one yesterday, actually. We said look for that supply rejection of 127.50. Absolutely perfect, right? Nice downside. Held this demand on FOMC at 124. Now, look at what it's doing this morning, right? This morning, you are turning this previous high, this previous high, this previous low, into rejections, right? So If you stay under 125.50 on Amazon, I believe this will lead to further weakness, right? And start to make lower highs. So if you hold below 125.50, then I think you will test your 124. If you break the 124, I think you will test the 122.50. So keeping a very close eye on this 125.50 level today on Amazon. This is a very clear supply level, right? If you zoom in, hopefully you guys can sort of get an idea of what I'm looking at here. Previous high, turned into support, and is now potentially turning back into rejections like it did back here, right? And you can see what happens when Amazon rejects this level, right? You get that downside into maybe this 124, into this 122.50. So this is another downside watch for me today. Amazon under this 125.50. Definitely keeping an eye on that one. Target, nice upside this morning. Target is coming off that weekly demand that we talked about, right? We talked about this weekly demand. We said this is where you could see maybe a little relief. It definitely is. We took a nice play on this yesterday with the group. Congrats on this one. Nice hold of this 130 level. You can see a nice demand hold if we go to the shorter term time frames. Nice little demand hold yesterday. Once we hold that 130 yesterday, look at that just crazy upside off of it. Just be careful of 140 here. All right, be careful of 140. Here's why. Let me get more time. Here's why you got to be careful of 140. Here's the 4 hour, right? And this is previous triple bottom, right? Right here, right here, right here. So if you are long target, right? If you are long target, just be cautious of this 140, right? Be cautious of this 140, right? And be cautious of maybe some potential rejections there if you are long target, all right? If you can get back above 140, then I really like this play, right, for more upside if you can regain 140. So keep an eye on that 140 if you're long target. Last one I wanted to point out today was coin. I think this thing is getting real weak. 4-hour chart, you guys can see, look at this just clear break and retest, lower highs, lower lows, sort of shelf, new shelf, right? You can see right here. Previous very strong demand is now turning into a area that Coinbase doesn't even want to get near. So if you break this 50 on coin, I think you have more downside. Crypto has been getting, really punished by the SEC lately. A lot of bad things coming out for it. Coinbase is in like an SEC battle right now. Watch this 50. If Coinbase breaks this 50, I still have Coinbase puts from last week, early this week. So I'm just going to hold these and sort of forget about them. If we break this 50, I do like more downside on Coinbase. It's a very clear break and retest of previous lows, right? Look at this. Previous lows into supply, right? Yeah, SEC is not going to let this thing breathe. I totally agree. SEC is not going to let crypto breathe, really. So previous lows, look at that rejection. I like this for downside. If you break 50, look out below. I would watch this on a 50 break. All right. All right, guys. I wanted to point out LULU, actually. If retail sales might help LULU, so be careful of this idea. But here is your weekly chart over the last 3 years on Lululemon. And look at what's happened on Lululemon every single time it touched 380, right? 380, rejection. 380, rejection. This one it got above. So you could maybe see this, of course, as well. But 380, rejection. 380, rejection. 380, rejection. 380, rejection. You're back at 380. Going to be something I monitor, right? Does Lulu get above 380? Or does Lulu reject 380 again? Keep an eye on this setup, right? You're approaching a very big area of interest. Keep an eye on that Lulu. Steven, thank you, man. Thank you for all you do, V. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the support. Last one I got for you today is Meta, right? And we can see Meta is at a major level here. 270, 269, right? Look at this demand. Demand, demand. So does Meta hold this 270 level today? Does Meta hold this area, right? Does Meta maintain this 269, 270? Keep an eye on this today. If you get a demand bounce on the market, You could look to long off this 269, 270 on Meta. If you break 269, downside. I'll go BABA because everyone is obsessed with the Chinese market. You know, the hot stock. It's done nothing. BABA is doing nothing. The chart looks terrible. You can try to catch a, you know, Chinese market upside if you really want. I would surely not be long into 95. Maybe you could look for the upside on a break and retest of 95. That would be the only long that I would consider here. I would consider longs on a break and hold above these highs right here. That would be the only long I'd consider. Break and hold above 95. Besides that, this is a very sideways chart that has gone nothing but down. And yeah, I would wait for a 95 break and retest personally for upside. All right, guys, that's all I got. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. If you could get us to 1,000 likes today, that would be fantastic. That's been a struggle, but I would love 1,000 likes. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content every single morning. Yeah, good luck today. ES is back over 4,400, it looks like. Yeah, it just ripped back above it. So that demand is still holding on pretty damn strong. The NASDAQ held that demand pretty damn strong again. So, I mean, watch out, right? Look at this demand hold again on the market. It does not want to give up this 4,400. All right, so be careful of that 44. Thank you, guys. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah.